Hello and welcome to the Press Room with WCN-TV, brought to you by the Wilson County News. We're your source for community and communication. I'm your host, Julia, the Marketing and Social Media Specialist here at the Wilson County News. Today, we're going in-depth with topics from our August 3rd edition of the Wilson County News. In this week's show, we'll be covering the following topics. County schools and their new security standards for the 2022-23 school year. The possibility of bringing pickleball to Floresville, and news from Floresville Electric Light and Power Systems. You can read the Wilson County News available on newsstands near you to learn more about these topics, or consider subscribing at wilsoncountynews.com so you never miss an edition. Last but not least, be sure to follow us on whatever platform you're watching to make sure you don't miss an episode of the Press Room or any other WCN-TV news. School is right around the corner here in Wilson County. The first days of school at local school districts are as follows. Nixon Smiley ISD and Stockdale ISD start on August 10th. East Central ISD and Falls City ISD start August 15th. Floresville ISD, Lavernia ISD, and Poth ISD start August 17th. This school year, all schools in Wilson County are requiring registration for families in need of reduced price lunches. If you have not yet registered or have any questions, please reach out to your local school district. Local school districts are also making some changes to their security protocols in light of the horrific May 24th shooting at Uvalde's Robb Elementary School. In our August 3rd edition of the Wilson County News, we're talking more about these changes with the first article in our two-part series. We're talking even more about this with Wilson County News editor Nanette Kilby-Smith. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks, Julia.
Of course. So why are only some of the school districts covered in our August 3rd article?
Well, to be perfectly honest, there's so much material to offer, and we cover 7 area school districts that it would have been a lot to commit to doing all 7. And because of how they presented the information, a lot of it is specific to their district, and we couldn't figure out how to present it in like a table form or anything to make it more contained. Right. So we felt we were better able to serve our school districts and our community families by presenting it in parts as opposed to one big. It would have taken the whole paper almost to present it all.
Right. So this is part 1 of a 2-part series that we're running on the subject. All right.
And there may be other information, ancillary information that comes out over time as kind of the school year gets underway, but this information at least will be a 2-part, and then there may be more to follow, but not necessarily a part of this as a series.
Right. Okay. So what seems to be the most popular concern on the agenda for the districts discussed this week?
Active shooter, addressing a potential active shooter situation, because by and large, most of our school districts have always had a safety and security mentality. It's obviously, you're trusting us with your children, your most prized I won't say possession is the wrong word, but the most important, thing to all of us as families, and they respect that. And so they've always tried to cultivate a safe and secure environment.
Right.
But especially in the wake of Uvalde, situations like Sandy Hook, and as we know, the Sutherland Springs church shooting, active shooters, I hesitate to say, have become kind of more frequent, those kind of situations, and schools realize that you have to be prepared for this situation. It's a parachute situation. You want to be prepared and have a plan, but you want to never have to use it. They'd rather have a plan in place and take those precautions so that everybody on campus, the students, the teachers, the employees, visitors, everybody is safe.
Right. Okay. And so East Central ISD and Nixon ISD have also added some more mental health and counseling initiatives to their security protocols. Mm-hmm. And so did they mention why they were making mental health a focus in light of things like active shooter preparation?
It kind of follows on programs that a number of our school districts have already been building, that we realize, students aren't just, you're not just there for learning, but obviously
Yeah.
if there's something going on in your life that you need to address that helps you to learn better or receive more from the educational opportunity, that they provide that opportunity to support that.
Right.
So it kind of follows on plans and programs they were already building. And not just those two districts, it's just those two have made a point of saying, we've also got these things available and in place. And in the wake of active shooter situations, we do find that addressing the fear and the aftermath of those situations is very important.
Right.
So they're just adding more to what was already available. They're enhancing the programs.
Okay. So will these security changes in Nixon Smiley ISD, East Central ISD, Stockdale ISD require parents and students to, change their own routines around school?
There may be some elements of that for some families in these districts. So like school drop-off and collection at the end of the school day, where the buses drop off students, access to the campuses. There may be elements, and those will be specific to the individual districts and to some of the individual campuses. And we know all of our area school districts are trying very hard right now to communicate a lot of this in advance of the first day of school so that students and families are equipped. They know where they're going to be going, they know what the expectations will be.
Right, okay. And so for more information about the security protocols at these three districts, see the August 3rd article in the Wilson County News or call your local school district for further information than we present. Information about Falls City, Floresville, Lavernia, and Poth ISDs will be in the August 10th edition of the Wilson County News.
That's correct.
In part 2 to this series.
That's correct. I would like to add, in addition to maybe calling the school districts, obviously if you have access, look on the websites and the web pages that are specific to the campuses your students attend, because
Right.
And obviously the different districts, social media and other online presences, they are trying very hard to present the information in as many formats as possible so that families are equipped with the information.
Awesome, thank you.
So thank you for having me.
Of course. Next, we're talking pickleball in Floresville. But first, we're taking a quick break. We'll be right back with more news. Welcome to C Street Gift Shop, located at 1012 C Street in Floresville, Texas. We're your one-stop shop for all things gift, including boutique-style clothes, gourmet food items, bath and body products, and much more. We love our community, and to show our love, several items for sale in our shop benefit local nonprofits. These handmade quilts by Carolyn Dote benefit the Wilson County Historical Society in honor of the late Harry Groves. These bowl cozies, also by Carolyn, benefit the same cause. Zip-up pouches by Nikki Storr benefit the Friends of the Wilson County Public Library, which fundraises for the library's programs. Come visit our shop to find fun, unique, and handmade items sourced in Wilson County, or shop online at www.cstreetgiftshop.com. We'll see you soon. In our August 3rd edition, we wrote about the Floresville Economic Development Corporation, or FEDC, and their consideration of adding pickleball courts to their plans for the Floresville Regional Business Plaza, located at the site of the old Floresville Electric Lights and Power System headquarters. Here to talk with us about pickleball and why the sport should have a place in the Floresville community is Gail Gleason, a Wilson County USA Pickleball Association ambassador. Welcome to the press room, Gail.
Thank you.
Of course.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, me too. So, what is pickleball?
Pickleball is one of the fastest growing sports in America. It's fun, it's social, it's friendly, and there's just, it's been growing like crazy in the last few years. It was actually started in 1965,
Okay.
but it really caught on around 2000, 11, 12, something like that. We really started going, and it's been going like blazes for the last 5 years or so.
Wow.
And it's a combination of ping pong, badminton, and tennis, and it's played on a court that's similar to it's like a badminton court,
Okay.
but the net is lower.
Right.
And it's got a net that's a little bit shorter, 2 inches shorter than a tennis net. It's a much smaller court than a tennis court. It's about the third the size of a tennis court. And it's played with a paddle and a ball that looks like a wiffle ball.
Okay.
It's a polymer ball that has a lot of holes in it.
Interesting.
Anywhere from 26 holes to 40 holes.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Different sizes, yeah.
So this combo sport, how long have you been playing it?
I've been playing since 2013.
Okay.
And the way I got interested in it or started in it was I was reading a comment on Facebook, and it said, I have to go now. I'm going to play pickleball. And I thought, well, what is pickleball? So I looked it up and found that they played in San Antonio. So I went up to San Antonio like the next day
Right.
and started playing and just got addicted very quickly. And played for about a month and entered a tournament, and then not too long after that we got started here in Floresville with just a group of 2 or 3 friends, and we'd play at the tennis courts at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And but then some of them couldn't play anymore and stuff like that, or it got cold and we stopped, and we eventually got into playing at the event center where it was protected from the sun and the heat and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so do you still play with others from the Wilson County area?
Yes, we play with anywhere from 10 to 24 players.
Wow.
And they come from Floresville, Livonia, Atkins, Broken Arrow area,
Okay.
Pleasanton, New Braunfels, Seguin, Whitsett,
Okay.
quite a bit further south from Pleasanton, and
Yeah.
we've got a pretty diverse group.
Yeah, I'd say so, kind of all over.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that y'all play at the event center in Floresville.
Yes.
Is that, do they have an actual pickleball court? How does that work?
They don't. It's not really designed for pickleball, but we
Right.
just we go to the ballroom and we put painter's tape down on the floor to mark the court out, and set up our nets and all our other equipment and stuff, and we just start playing there. And we set up anywhere from 2 to 4 nets, and depending on how many people we have.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun. And sometimes we play in the gym when it's available.
Awesome.
And the gym's nice to play in too, because it's got the wooden floor, and that's easier. But yeah.
I bet.
It's-
And, having no official pickleball court in the Wilson County area, where is there, places that you can practice otherwise?
Really, tennis courts. I mean, we can put tape down or chalk. We can even use chalk on tennis courts if it's allowed.
Right.
If it were like in Livonia, we wouldn't do that because they'd want the chalk washed off or something like that probably. But the city courts here in Floresville, we have put chalk down on those, and that's okay.
Okay.
It rains, if it rains, it washes off.
Yeah.
And
Are there any actual pickleball courts that y'all are able to use for?
no, there's
more
no
seasons?
dedicated pickleball courts in Wilson County.
Right.
Yes.
And so what I understand from our August 3rd article is that the nearest pickleball courts are in San Antonio.
Yes.
Right.
There's some downtown, close to not too far from the Alamo Dome.
Okay.
And then there's some on Broadway. It's called Factory of Champions. And then there's at Windcrest, there's some dedicated pickleball courts also.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So why do you think that the Floresville Economic Development Corporation and the City of Floresville should implement the pickleball courts that were proposed for their Floresville Regional Business Plaza?
Well, I think pickleball would be a lively, fun game for people to first watch, and I think they'd get interested and start playing.
Yeah.
And, and then they bring other friends, and I think it would be a big boost to not just the plaza, but also to pickleball. I think it'd bring in a lot more people.
Absolutely.
And pickleball players would really enjoy having like a little cafe or restaurant or bar and grill, whatever, in the area to just go sit down and,
chill after.
Yeah, chill after the game or before the game or during the game. Or,
right.
Yeah, pickleball players are really friendly.
Absolutely.
I mean, we all get along. I've never met somebody that was really difficult to get along with or,
Yeah. And
a
so
problem.
I also understand that with official courts dedicated to pickleball, not only would that give people a place to play recreationally or to
Yes.
practice as a team, but that might open Floresville up to hosting tournaments.
Possibly, yes, that's a possibility.
That's
I mean,
pretty
it would be
cool.
a fun place to have a smaller tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the tournaments are small,
Right.
like 40 people or something. And then there's tournaments that go up to 500 and 600.
Wow.
Of course, that would take,
Yeah.
a
Quite a
dozen
large
courts or something.
facility.
Large, yes. But small tournaments would be very easily done.
How cool. And so, as an ambassador of the Wilson County USA Pickleball Association,
Right.
can you direct people where to look for more information about your association?
Yes. Well, they could call me.
Right.
I'm a representative, and my job is to, encourage people to play pickleball and get involved and to grow the sport.
All right.
And our overall association is USA Pickleball, and it's usapickleball.org.
Okay.
And they have a really good website, and they have videos and all that. And another place would be, we have a Floresville Pickleball page
Cool.
that, we'd like anybody to look at. And also we have a I think it's called Wilson County / Floresville Pickleball group, a Facebook group.
Okay.
And we put, information on there and all, and some videos and stuff like that. But one of the best places to learn about pickleball is on YouTube.
Okay.
There's hundreds of YouTube videos about what it is, how to begin, how to play. But if they come out and play with us, then we can teach them how to play in 5 minutes.
Awesome.
And you can, it's not like tennis where it takes hours and hours and hours of instruction. I mean, you can learn in 5 minutes and be on the court playing.
Absolutely. Well, that may explain why it's exploding so much.
Yes,
It's so simple
yes.
to learn.
It's also much easier on the body than tennis is.
Yeah.
I mean, I love tennis, but tennis can be brutal on the body. The sprained ankles and the shoulder problems and etc.
Yeah.
But pickleball is so much easier on the body, and it's fun because you get to hit the ball so many more times than you do in tennis.
Yeah.
In tennis you hit it and you may have to walk over and pick up the ball and it's way over there. And pickleball, it's a much smaller area, and you're also close to your partner.
Okay.
And so, there's a lot more interaction. And that's one of the things that makes it more social. Is not just when you're on the court too, but if you're on the side waiting to play your game, then you're talking to somebody.
Right. So it's very community oriented.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's also that way in that when you go to play pickleball, in most places you put your paddle in a stack.
Right.
And when your turn comes up, when somebody comes off the court because they lost, or maybe all 4 of them come off, then the next 2 or the next 4 go up, and it's, you're always playing with a different partner. It's not like you have to have a partner to go play with. You just show up and there's people to play with.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for all the information about pickleball and why you think it should have a place in our community.
Yeah. Well, it's a really great sport, and I think we've gotten 5 new players just in the last 10 days.
Wow.
And we would like to have younger players, but we just, during COVID and all, we kind of slowed that down, and but we would like to include them.
I think that's all. Thank you for your time.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
In this week's Wilson County News, we ran an article titled Crowson Presents Performance Scorecards to Phelps Directors, where we relayed the thoughts from the Floresville Electric Lights and Power System, or FELPS, Board of Directors about the city-owned utilities' performance in 2022 compared to that in 2021. Mark Crowson, the CEO of FELPS, is here with us to go into more detail. Okay. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Thanks. Good to be here.
All right. So you joined FELPS as the CEO in March of this year, 2022, and are new to Floresville. So how are you liking being a part of our community, and what are your thoughts on FELPS so far?
Well, yeah, thanks for having me. I've really felt very welcomed, by the community. Everybody has been so helpful, open arms, very friendly, and it's really been different. I'm from the Dallas area, and it's very hustle and bustle, a lot of things going on. Down here is at a different pace, but I'm really enjoying that. And met, just tons of new friends already, and I've only been here a few months. So yeah, really, really excited about being here and being a part of FELPS. FELPS is a great municipal utility, and we can talk a little bit more about that, obviously, but I'm really, really proud of the company and really happy to be a part of the community. So,
that's really good to hear. We're really glad to have you.
Thanks.
Right. And so since March, when you came to FELPS, have y'all implemented anything new, like maybe some technology updates, or, what's going on there?
Yeah, so many folks probably know that FELPS just moved into a new building about a year ago. So there are all kinds of new things that were acquired and purchased and installed that are still being implemented. So I can't really take credit for that. That was all before I got here. And so there's great staff, and we're literally when I got here, we were already implementing new IT technology. We've got drones that are flying our lines, taking digital pictures, identifying areas that are of our lines that are damaged, that need repair. Really, Phelps was already, right up there with technology. So it's been more of implementing and improving the new technology that they've been acquiring and putting in place. The things that I've brought to the table that are new are, I have over 30 years experience in the industry. I've worked at many utilities, and a part of my career has been all around best practices in utilities. So the minute I arrived, here in this role at Phelps, I was looking at, for the board, I did an assessment, and basically the assessment is, what do we do well, and where could we improve? We don't do it as well as we could. And, I don't know if the board was surprised. They expected the report card to be a lot worse than it was, but it was really good.
Awesome.
Phelps does a lot of things.
Yeah.
Best practice. As with any business, though, and again with the range of my experience, I've got all kinds of ideas on things that maybe we can improve, here and there. So it's kind of around the edges, but nothing major. And in the board meeting in June, I believe, or maybe it was May, I reported out to the board, how well we were doing, and there were areas that were weakness that we were going to focus on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And so in our August 3rd article, we talked about how you were presenting this scorecard that you just mentioned.
Yep.
And so what is the scorecard? Like, what is the purpose of that? Is that where you laid out all of these best industry practices, or?
Yeah, let me explain. So it's an industry best practice, not just for utility, for any business. Your scorecard is what measures can you identify and apply goals to determine whether the business is healthy. The typical areas are financial health, people health, and that's employees and the community.
Okay.
And then operational, and that's got to do with the wires and the poles and
Right.
the technical part of it. And so we did a search. We looked at we found 5 ways to measure performance in those 3 areas, and they were the top 5. Nearly every utility in the country that was using scorecards was using some of these measures, so they really are a best practice.
Right.
And then what you do is you measure FELPS, our performance versus a group of companies that are like our size, like other municipalities all over the state of Texas or all over the country.
Okay.
And we did it with a blind eye to, I didn't want the answer shouldn't have been we're perfect in every measure,
Yeah.
If you did, that would mean the goals were too easy,
Right.
and instead, these are the goals, these are what the top performers do in all those goals. Now, drum roll, because, now you're going to put, Phelps's numbers in there. Pleasantly surprised, 80% of them, and it's a green, yellow, red kind of a process, we're in the green. In other
Wow.
words, we're either performing better or equal to a lot of utilities our size. There was only a couple of areas that we need to, pay more attention to.
Yeah.
But that's the purpose of this, and we'll look at it year after year after year. It really gives the board in a snapshot. It's a 1-page scorecard. This is the health of the business in all the critical areas, and really excited to roll it out. This board has been wonderful. I'm new. I'm from out of town, and I'm bringing in something they had not seen before.
Right.
But we talked about it for several weeks, actually multiple board meetings. We kind of set the stage. We told them how we were going to develop it, and then we rolled it out on our new iPads. You mentioned that in your
Yes, in our
in
article.
in your article. But yeah, we also went from old paper books to we're going to go to iPads because that's what
Right.
folks are doing these days. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it was really well received by the board. The questions were all the appropriate questions you would ask. But I'm excited about it. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
And that seems like a lot to be excited about. So you created these goals hoping that they would leave you with, some guidelines for where you can improve. So essentially you created your own room for improvement.
that's right.
So what are some of the areas that you said maybe need some more improvement? What are y'all doing there?
Yeah. But one that jumped off the page to me was employee safety. It's not that we have a terrible safety record, or we don't. We have a good safety program,
Right.
but it needs a little bit of improvement to get. Safety is one of the things that's really important to me, as it should be, for our employees. So honestly, I would have almost rather been out of line on anything other than safety. That got my attention. So we're going to hire a safety lead for Phelps. It's a new position. We've never had that role.
Wow.
So we will have a supervisory level person whose focus is all about safety. That's one thing we're doing.
Okay.
We've focused on our safety meetings, the content. What are we training folks to do? Because and these jobs are out in the elements. They're not easy by any means, as you can imagine. And so we're just ramping up all of the training. Again, the new hire will come in. We'll be doing more safety audits, more involvement from management, including myself. When I go visit our crews working in the field, I'll be doing safety audits, and it's not like it's getting anybody in trouble, but if there's anything they can improve on, we actually will tell the crew to stop, and at the end they'll review the audit, and hey, we could do this a little better.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it as a group. And that's an industry best practice as well.
Okay.
I don't want anybody to think that this is kind of a punitive measure. Many years ago, that's kind of the way things were, in the industry. You went out there and you found somebody making a mistake and you fired them, and that was their last day. Well, In today's environment, no, we're trying to improve, people. We want these folks to keep working for us a long time.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to throw in there is Phelps has amazing retention. They have people that have been there 25, 30 years
Wow.
working for that same company. They got out of high school, they're working for Phelps,
Amazing.
their entire life. So
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of adds to y'all's community connection too.
yeah, oh yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, it's really cool. That's
It is cool.
I like that.
All right. And so, what about some of those areas that you were surprised to see y'all were doing so well in?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's surprised, but it was a kind of an eye opener, and it gave me a sense of pride, like things that folks would be interested in. We measure the average cost of an electric bill for our customers, right? We're below or right equal to everybody in the surrounding community, on cost.
Yeah.
That's a really good thing. That means
That
Phelps
is.
has really been good. And again, I didn't set the budget. I can't say that I've been a part of that, but the cost for electricity, for power, although it's increased, is still very, very good as compared to, if you live somewhere else.
Right.
And then the other measure that I'm pretty excited about, I think, is it's called O&M cost. So it's an operation and maintenance cost per customer.
Okay.
That's also low, and that's a good thing. So we've got high quality service, our outages are low, we're serving our customers at the least cost, so we're efficient,
Right.
and then our bills are also, and it's all kind of good, you can kind of see the connection, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the end, our customers here are getting a good quality service. So
Yeah.
the way that all laid out, and we were right there aligned or better than many folks around us, many utilities around us, that was really, really something that, I'm proud of.
Yeah. I mean,
So.
that deserves pride.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
Of
it's really good.
course. And well, I think that pretty much covers all of my questions. But thank you so much
Yeah,
for
no problem.
coming out.
Yeah, I enjoyed being here. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Of
Thanks.
course.
Thank you.
That's it for today, folks. Thank you for joining us for the Press Room with WCN TV, brought to you by the Wilson County News. Don't forget to subscribe on whatever channel you're watching so that you never miss an episode, or any of our other WCN TV news. Also consider subscribing to our newspaper, the Wilson County News, at wilsoncountynews.com so you never miss an edition of our local newspaper. In addition to that, be sure to download our community app at gowilsonapp.com to access the Wilson County News, Lavernia News, City of Floresville resources, and more, all from one platform. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into today's topics and that you'll join us again next week for another episode of The Press Room. We'll see you soon.